Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this a beautiful blanket. Now I have made a hat and the yarn I used for this is the King Cole Finesse. It's a cotton silk, it's 100% cotton and it is super soft. This one is mint. It comes in 50-gram balls and the colour is 2827 for that, and it is beautiful. There's a really nice weight in this. I've done this with 50 rounds. Now it doesn't look like 50 rounds. It is 25 rounds of the fan and there's a little cross stitch in the middle there. You can see that little cross stitch in between these fans. So there's 25 rounds of the fan and 25 of the cross stitch. I finished it on a fan round, and around the edges I've put clusters of 5 stitches and then a double crochet down in here. That's a single crochet if you're in the USA. These are done with UK treble crochets. That's a double crochet if you're in the USA. And I put one all the way down, and on the bottom I still did my little groups of 5, and it turned that very first row into a circle. Look at that, it's so pretty. Now it is a back and a front. That's the back of it. It's still a pretty pattern, but most of the pattern very textured. It's beautiful. Now you can use any yarn for this. Use the hook size it tells you on the label. I used a UK 3.5. It tells you to use a 3.5 or a 4 for this, and that's a US 6. It tells you to use a 4, which is a US 6. I used a 3.5, and I think that's a US 5. I'm not sure. That's what I used. So you can use bigger hooks and you'll get a much more open pattern like this with this. It's really easy. Once you get to grips with that cross stitch in the middle, it is really easy and it grows really fast. It is so pretty. Now in the next video I will show you how to do the bonnet in the next video. I don't want the video to be too long, and I'll show you this one in the next video, and I'm going to show you how to do this. Now the one other thing is, I'm at my sister Sandra's and this is her craft table. It's a bit beaten up. I will put a sheet over it, but I think I might end up just having to do it with the table because it's quite slidey on this, but it is so pretty, and I'm going to show you how to do this. So I'm going to show you how to do that pattern. We're going to do it in sets of 8 stitches and then add one more stitch once you've done it. So do your blanket in sets of 8 until the length that you want it to be. So I'm going to do my chain, and I'm going to do it in sets of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So we're going to go into this. We're going to go into the second stitch in the chain, and we're going to do a UK double crochet. That's a single crochet if you're in the USA. So go into that second stitch and do 1 stitch. Now you're going to skip 3 stitches. So skip 3, 1, 2, 3. And into the 4th stitch, we're going to do our cluster of 9 stitches. Yes, I said 9. Now these are UK treble crochets. And if you're in the USA, these are double crochets for you if you're in the USA. It's the same stitch. It's just each country calls it something different. So yarn over and into that stitch. That's the 4th stitch after that one. We're going to do 9, a cluster of 9. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now what you'll notice is it's taken that stitch that's there and squashed it. So remember and count that when we skip 3. So pull your stitches back and remember and count that stitch that all these ones have squashed. So 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do a double crochet into there. That's a single if you're in the USA. Now we're going to skip 3 again. 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th stitch we're going to do that cluster. 9 stitches, and we're going to do that all the way along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And again, it's squashed that stitch there, so make sure you count that little squash stitch. 1, 2, and 3, and do a double crochet. It's a double or a single, whatever country you're in. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and do that cluster all the way to the end. So I've got my little fans done. Now I've got a squash stitch in there, and I've got a squashed stitch in there, and I've got 2 left. I'm going to do a double crochet into the end stitch. Now if you don't have enough stitches, or you've got too many, just pick them out, or you can use the tail to add an extra couple of stitches to it. So we're going to do the second row. That's the first row. We're going to do the second row. We're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and turn around. Now these 9 stitches of your fan, we're going to be using the second stitch in, skip 2, use the top stitch, skip 2, and use the second last stitch out of these 9. So that's my chain of 4. That counts as a UK double treble. If you're in the USA, that is a treble stitch for you. So we're going to skip 1 and into that second stitch there, put a treble crochet, just a 1. So you have this. Now we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. You're going to skip 2 in this fan of 9. So make sure you always put 9 in your fan. So skip 2 and do a double crochet into there. That's a single if you're in the USA. So what we're going to do now is we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and into the second stitch of that fan, do a double treble. So into the next fan, into the second stitch, do your double treble. Chain 2. Remember and do your chain 2. Now we're going to skip back 2 stitches. So skip back 1, 2, and into that stitch. So that's the second last stitch of that fan. So the best way to remember is skip back 2 stitches, 1, 2, and into the third stitch there. So skip 2, do yarn over twice, and just go right through there, pull the yarn through, and finish your double treble. or your treble, whatever country you're in. And it makes this little cross stitch. That's what gives that pattern, that nice little pattern right up the middle. And it keeps your fans on top of each other. So we're going to skip, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. So we're going to chain 2, skip 2 and do a double crochet. And then we're going to repeat what we've just done. So chain 2, 1, 2, go to the next fan, skip 1 and into the second stitch of the next fan, yarn over twice, into the second stitch of the next fan, do your stitch, chain 2, 1, 2, that will straighten itself out. Now you're going to skip 2 back, so 1, 2 and into the third one back. So skip 1, 2, work back and go through that stitch right through to the other side and pull through, yarn over through 2 loops, through 2 loops, yarn over and you're through 2 loops, chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to work our way across the top of these fans. Skip 2 and do your stitch. Yarn over twice. Oh, we're going to chain 2. Remember all these chain 2s. Chain 2. Go to the next fan, into the second stitch of the next fan, yarn over twice, pull through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over and through 2 loops, chain 2, 1, 2. Now we're going to skip back 2 stitches, 1, 2 and into the third stitch. So skip 1, 2 and into the third stitch. So from there you're skipping 2. Yarn over twice and into that stitch. So you're skipping 1, 2 and do that stitch. So when you stretch this out, you're actually skipping 3 stitches. I do apologise for that. You skip the first one of that double crochet down there and the last stitch of that one. So you're skipping 3 stitches. I'll show you again. Chain 2. We're going to go up to the top of the fan. So from that stitch, count 1, 2 and go in there. Chain 2, yarn over twice, go to the next fan. We're going to the second stitch of the next fan and we're going to do this cross stitch. Going to chain 2, yarn over twice, and you're going to skip 3 stitches, not 2, 3. So you've got 1, that double crochet and that one. You're going into the second last stitch of that fan. So you're skipping 1, 2 and 3 stitches. I do apologise for saying 2 at the beginning. And we're going to do our long stitch. Chain 2, skip 2, double crochet into the top of the fan, chain 2, yarn over twice, and you're going in to the second stitch. So 1, 2 into the second stitch of the next fan. We're doing this crossover stitch. 1, 2, 3. Chain 2. Now you're going to skip 3 stitches back. So 1, 2 and 3, and we're going in to the second last stitch of that fan and do that crossover section. Once you get the hang of this, it is easy to remember. Chain 2, skip 2 into the top of the fan, chain 2, yarn over twice, go over to your last cluster, into the second stitch of that fan. So there's one there and one there. We're going into the second stitch of that fan and do that big long stitch. Chain 2, 1, 2, and you're going to count back 3 stitches. So you've got 1, 2 and 3, and you're going in to that one there. So skip 1, 2, 3 and go into the second last stitch of that fan, right through to the other side. Pull your yarn and you can see it's crossing it over. Pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 2, skip 2 and go into the top of that last fan. Now at the end, what we're going to do is you're going to find the second last stitch. So count 1, 2 stitches and into that second last one, so skip 2, you're going to do a treble crochet, and then into that little double crochet on the end, yarn over twice and do your UK double treble, and that's a treble crochet. And if you're in the USA, and this is what you get. You've got these little crossed over stitches in between. You can see them better on this side. You can see that those stitches create a cross in your work. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go straight into the chain 1 and into that stitch do a double crochet. And you know, if you're in the USA, that's a single crochet. Now into this stitch at the top of the fan, that stitch there, put your cluster of 9. Once you get the hang of this, it's really easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pull my yarn up, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Now go into that chain of 2 here, in between that cross, and do a double crochet. Over to the top of your next cluster here, you're going to do that fan of 9 stitches. And you're going to do that all the way along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, make sure you do 9, 8 and 9. Now you're going to go in between where your cross is, double crochet into there, then a fan, then a double crochet, then a fan, a double crochet in the chain, a fan, double crochet in the chain, a fan, double crochet, a fan, and you'll double crochet into this top of this long stitch here. So I'll do that, and then I'll come back and show you that crossover stitch again. So at the end, I'm going to, you've got 4 stitches in here, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to go in to the top of, not that one, into this one. Just go in to the top of that stitch and do a double crochet. So I'm going to show you how to do this crossover stitch here. You can see it here, this crossed stitch. It makes a really nice texture on the pattern. Now don't be daunted by it, you will be able to do this. Once you've done your double crochet here, you can see how many stitches you're left. You're going to do your crossover into the second stitch of this fan, the second stitch of that fan, and it'll be the second last stitch. So you're skipping 3 stitches down here. That last stitch, the double crochet and that first stitch, they're the 3 stitches you're skipping. I know at the beginning when I told you this it was 2. It's not, it's 3. I forgot about the double crochet in there. So I'll show you that row again. So we're going to chain 4. At the end, once you've done your double crochet, chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and turn. Now skip 1 stitch and go into the second stitch of the fan. So on the fan you're using the second stitch, we're going into the top stitch, and then we're using the second last stitch of the fan. That's your last stitch. We're using that second last stitch, and on this fan it's the second stitch, the top stitch and the second last stitch of the fans. So we're going to skip 1 and do a treble crochet into the second stitch of the fan. Now chain 2. Remember all these chain 2s, and you're going to skip 2 and go into the top of the fan. Do your double crochet or your single, whatever country you're in. Chain 2. Now wrap around twice. We're going to the next fan into the second stitch of the next fan, into the top. So we've got, don't count that part there. Make sure you've got 1 and 2 go into there. And do that long double treble. That's a treble if you're in the USA. Chain 2. Now we're going to skip back 3 stitches, 1, 2 and 3, and go in to there. That's the second last stitch in the fan. So skip 3 back, 1, 2, 3. We're going in to there, and as you can see it's the second last stitch. And do that, chain 2, skip 2, and you'll be at the top of your fan. Chain 2, wrap around twice. We're going to do a cross stitch over. So to the next fan, skip the first stitch, go in to the second stitch of the fan, do that big long stitch, chain 2, remember the chain 2s, and you're going to skip back 3, 1, 2, 3, and go in to the 4th one. Yarn over twice. So as you can see it's the second last stitch on the fan. So skip 1, 2, 3 back. Once you get the hang of this, you'll see exactly where you're going. Chain 2. Now skip 2 to the top of the fan. Chain 2, yarn over twice, and go in to the second stitch of the fan. So that's the first stitch of the fan. Go into the second stitch, and we're going to do this crossover stitch. Chain 2, get some more yarn, wrap around twice, and skip back 3, 1, 2, 3, and go into the 4th one back, and that should be the second last stitch of the fan. Cross it over right through and pull your yarn through. Yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, chain 2. Now you're going to skip 2 to the top of the fan, chain 2, yarn over twice, go to the next fan, go into the second stitch of the next fan, do that long stitch. Remember your chain 2, yarn over twice, and you're going to skip back to this stitch. So skip 1, 2 and 3 and go in to that number 4 stitch back and make that cross. And you're going to do that chain 2 all the way along, skip 2 into the top of the fan, chain 2, wrap around twice, go right over all of that and into the second stitch in your fan, chain 2, yarn over twice, skip 3 back, 1, 2, 3, go into the fourth one back, Muttley, clumbering along the floor, chain 2, now we're going to skip 2 into the top of that fan, chain 2, yarn over twice. I'm not playing with the ball, he wants me to play with his ball, into the second stitch of the fan, chain 2, wrap your yarn twice and do that other crossover. So skip back 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, skip 3 and go into that fourth one and pull it through, and remember your chain 2. So remember, it's chain 2, a long stitch over, chain 2, stitch back and chain 2, skip 2 into the top of the fan. Now at the end we're going to find the second last stitch in the fan, so chain 2, and we're just going into the second last stitch of the fan and do a treble crochet, just the one, yarn over twice, and we're going into that double crochet down there. And we're going to do the fan row, chain 1 and turn. And this is what you get. It's really pretty. You get that really nice cross in between these fans. So the fan row, straight into there with a double crochet. Single if you're in the USA. Over to the double crochet, you're going to build a fan, do a double crochet in that 2 chain there, over to this one, build a fan, then do your little stitch into that chain space, build a fan, then do your double crochet in there. So we're going straight over, no chains, just go straight over and do your fan of 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, oops, and 9. Then you'll do your double crochet in the chain. No chains in between, straight over and do your next fan. Straight over, do a double crochet, straight over, do your fan, straight over, double crochet all the way along, and then rewind the video and do that cross stitch again. And this is what you'll get. You'll get this really pretty stitch. It's 25 rows of the fan and 25 rows of the cross one, and you can see how that pattern shows up. It's so pretty. Now what you can do to finish off your pattern, finish on a fan row, finish on that fan row, and I'm sure you can still see that with the light in Sandra's room. So I've got my little car blanket. This is big enough just to pop in the car, and this is the right side. There is a right and a wrong side with this. This side's quite plain and most of the pattern is on this side. Now I'll show you just how to run down the sides. Now you can make your mind up whether you want to do a fan of 9 or a fan of 5. I'll just get that up there. It keeps slipping off this Sandra's work table. I'm at my sister Sandra's. So into this first space here, into this first space, I'm going to do a fan. I will try 5 first. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's see what that looks like. No, we'll go more. I think we'll do our 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I've done my 9. I'm going to do a double crochet down into here. It might be too much. And then do 9 into that one. I think it's going to be too much, so it's going to be far too close to each other. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do it as 5. Then I'm going to double crochet down into here. Put 5 in this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and double crochet down into this space here. That seems to be okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my 5 all down the side here. So this is my little blanket all finished. We've got the top. Along the sides I put 5, and then a double crochet and 5 into these links that I showed you earlier. Now along the bottom, look at this, look how the bottom turned out. I only put 5 in, and it made this pretty little circle on it. And then a double crochet down there, put 5 in, double crochet down in there, 5, double crochet into the middle. At the corner I had to put 2 treble crochets, 2 chain and 2 treble crochets to get me around the corners. That's what I did around the corners. That's the back of the blanket, and this is how it turned out. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 sets of 8 to get this size, and this is a cotton yarn. I'll show you the label. I used the King Cole Finesse for this. That's the King Cole Cotton Silk, and it's a beautiful cotton yarn. It's beautiful. And I did this. So this is big enough for, look at that, so pretty. That's big enough for a car seat or a buggy or a pram, a little pram cover as well. And what I also made, that just belongs to there. What I also made is this. I made a little matching baby bonnet. I made a little baby bonnet for it because it's a really pretty little pattern. I'll do the baby bonnet in another video. It turned out really nice with the baby bonnet. It's a really simple, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds on there, and I did one little round to pick that up like that. I've made a little neck with a hole for a button. You can put a button on, or you can just put some ribbon on each end to tie around the baby's neck. You can either put the button on, slip it through there, and put a button on just to hold that around the baby's chin. It'll go around the baby's neck, under the chin, like that. And that is so pretty. 1, 2, 3, 4. I only did 5 rounds, so it makes it 10, but it's 5 of the cluster round. I did 5 rounds of the clusters on it, and I'll show you how to do that as well. It's really simple. It's a really pretty little baby bonnet as well. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost any money to subscribe to the channel, and if you click on the bell icon that's down there, YouTube will tell you when I put up another tutorial. So until the next time, happy crafting, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.